This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning. Good morning. This is another awesome day. Hey, how
How's it
you
going,
doing this
man?
morning? It's going
Okay, no
well.
complaints. I'm sorry?
That's. I said it's going well.
Well,
It's going very well.
hey, I'm alive. That's what it counts.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hey,
Exactly.
thanks for the
Yes,
text
sir.
that you for the text that you sent me yesterday. Yesterday or Saturday, I forgot what day was it. They're very nice.
Isn't it good?
Yes. Very,
Isn't it
very nice.
good? I'm gonna
Yep.
I'm actually gonna put that on the call today
Oh, okay.
because I think it's I think it's I think it's an awesome quote.
Yeah, it is. I mean, as long as anything this positive, it's awesome. That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I have to agree with you, sir. It is, as a matter of fact, for those of you on the call, thank you for being on the call. And give me 1 second, if you would. I'm talking to my buddy, Franco, and he was talking about a text I sent out to, to my buddies. And it's really like a really awesome quote by a lady named Miriam Williamson, and I think I'll pull that up for you guys. And give me 1 second, if you will. Let's see. That's Marianne. Let's pull her up. So those of you on that are online will, let's see. Let me see. I'm just about there, you guys. And you know what? I hope everybody had an awesome weekend. I had a really good weekend. Didn't do like a lot of stuff, but I did enough. And I enjoyed myself. We, I should say, enjoyed ourselves. And that's a good look. So the lady's name is Mary Williamson, and so before I get this call started, for those of you who are on the call, I think that you will like this quote. And I'm really, really slow because I like the quote so much that I think I want you guys to really get this. And so the quote by Marianne Williamson, and she spelled her name Marianne W-I, last name is Williamson. And this quote is from a movie called Aquila and the Bee. And so the quote says, it starts off by just simply saying, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? We were born to manifest the glory of God that is within us. And as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. Isn't that like the most awesome thing? I mean, I was reading a little slow, so it probably sounds a little, I don't know, ass backwards. But go and find it for yourself. And but I really wanted you guys to grasp it. It's such an awesome quote. I mean, because if you just kind of break it down just a touch, right? So everybody on this call, it's really speaking to us and what we're about on this Power Mondays Mastermind call. It is, us living our best selves, right? Becoming who we truly are, leaving positioning ourselves to leave a legacy behind us, right? I mean, so many people come and go on this planet. Billions and billions of people have gone before us and, have left, no word of them ever being here. Not just like for the greater population, but I'm talking about for their own families, right? And so, as I've said prior, and I'll say until I drop dead, one of the things that I really, really want to do is make sure, and Franco and I are actually talking about this when we saw each other on Saturday, that, ideally, your kids might have great jobs, they're doing good things in this world, but you want to leave something behind for them and for your grandkids potentially, right? And so when I read this poem, this quote, whatever you want to call it, it really speaks to me because I know that for me, a lot of reason that I don't, hey, how you doing? Whoever just came on. With whomever just came on, we're talking about a quote by Marianne Williamson. I'll probably read it again because it's such an awesome quote, or poem, if you will. And it speaks to what we should be about on this call, right? Which is building and developing and being better, leaving our legacy, allowing our acts, our good deeds to continue to shine well after we've left this plane, right? This planet, if you will. So anyways, I'm going to, probably read that later on again, but it's Marianne Williamson. It's the quote from Aquila and the Bee, an old movie, but really, really good quote. And I just love that first part, which just says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. I mean, that's just like awesome to me, And so, like, what I was going to say is, one of the things that I have found in my existence, and people can call it whatever they want to. People are like, no, it's not fear, it's this. It's not, all that bull. But for me, I have always found that for me and the people that I talk to, they can call it whatever they want to. It's always the fear of the fear of success, the fear of failure, the fear of not being liked, the fear of being judged, the fear of poverty. When the funny thing about the fear of poverty actually keeps you impoverished, right? Because as it has been said in all these different books, Think and Grow Rich, and even before Think and Grow Rich, there was a book by a guy named Wallace Walliford, and awesome book. And you can get that book. And the deal is that it always comes down to one thing. If you're concentrating, you're focusing on one thing, then that's how your life is going to end up being. So I have seen where people in my family that are hypochondriacs, they always have some shit wrong with them. It's like, it's uncanny, I have this, I have that, and they always have some shit wrong with them. It's just crazy to me. And then it's like they're manifesting sickness, and I just I'm not saying that sometimes people aren't sickly, because that would be the furthest thing from the truth. But what I'm saying is when you have a healthy person that in order to get sympathy or get attention or whatever the case may be, they're always talking about something hurting on them, or going to, like, I have family members that have had surgeries, because their doctors are like, oh yeah, your back hurts, let's go ahead and do something about that. Oh, your shoulder too, huh? We'll do something about that, and the doctors don't give a shit because they're getting paid. So they will operate on you, collect that check, and leave you worse off than what you were, And the reason I know that to be a fact is because the several different people I can think of, both friends and family, are literally worse off after their surgery than they are before their surgeries, right? I've known people in my existence that have had surgery to get a freaking insurance check. Well, my lawyer says, hey, you probably need to get that surgery, that kind of bull. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, stupid. So let's get with this. And then the title of this call is living your best life. And I want to tell you guys that, dude, look, the more we do, in other words, the more we do in the direction we know we should be moving in, the happier you become. It's just, and even though we're taking these steps, well, I'll talk for myself. Even though I'm taking steps and I'm fearful of the next step, right? I'm fearful, I have this fear that is, as I've gotten older, I don't know where this crap comes from, but, I become more risk adverse. And maybe because as I've gotten older, I think about my mortality more or something. I don't know. Or losing stuff and being harder to remake that stuff. But what's funny is when I just take these steps, no matter how small, it just, and as I tackle those levels of fear in my businesses, because that's my passion. Business is my passion, right? It's what gets me up in the morning. I want to try to, make some money, figure some new shit out. That's what makes me happy. And honestly, within all of that, teaching people within my businesses how they can better themselves, that's my fucking passion. So, it just is. And whatever your passion is, I'm sure you're going to have difficulty moving in that direction because of the same reason I have those difficulties. And once again, I equate it to being fearful. And so what I'm going to say to you all is to live your best life, you're going to have to start taking these minor steps, eating away at your fear, like just fractionally. There are times when I'm dealing with clients and I tell them, okay, yeah, so you just do this, do that, and the other thing, and they have the credit to do it. They have everything that's necessary to make it happen, and they won't do it. And they won't do it because they're fearful. It amazes me. But in truth, they are no different than I am. And they're probably no different than you all on this call. We all have our different levels of fear and which affect our overall being, affect our lives. And so what I'm saying to you all is, and I'm saying it to myself as well, is that in order to get over your fear, so you and I together can start taking these small steps, whatever, size step you need to take. So as a grouping, as a team, we can do that together, right? Because your moving forward is going to benefit me to move forward as well. And so if you need help to move forward, you need somebody because, within our families, they love us, care about us, whatever, but they might not be really with what we're doing in this business arena. Okay? So, and since we know that, entrepreneurialism it can be a very lonely thing, I'm saying to you all, whether it's on this call, or via email, and I'm not going to just tell you up front, I'm not doing a bunch of back and forth email, but just like if you need to chit chat a little bit via email, maybe here and there a phone call, because I charge $250 an hour for my time on the phone, whether it's the full hour or a fraction thereof. I literally don't mind giving of myself to help you get yourself going to the next level, to the next stage, or whatever the case may be. Because by helping you do that, in actuality, whether you realize it or not, it is going to help me overcome my fears, overcome, whatever screwed up I have in my head, right? So together, right, we can both be screwed up together and build together. It's going to be your thing, whatever, you're trying to accomplish in your existence. As I mentioned earlier and constantly, sometimes we just need, someone else of like mind to work with and move forward with and to make some things happen, because places where I'm fearful, you may not be. Places where you're fearful, I may not be. So therefore, we can help one another, right? I have a vast wealth of knowledge. I have so many different things, but even with all of those things said, it doesn't mean that I'm not you, right? I just happen to be a little further along in one specific arena than you may be. That's all it means, right? So some of you, let's say I don't know what your field of study might be, but let's say you're a truck driver or a freaking, real estate investor or whatever, right? Or you work in finance or something in a specific arena or stock market or whatever. So that, I would need you because, if I were interested in that type of thing, because your expertise is that, right? That's something you do every day. Well, this stuff over here, business development, coaching, finance, credit rebuilding, personal and personal credit rebuilding, business credit building, business development. That's my love. That's my passion. That's my arena. And so I'm probably further along in it than you all are. And so when it comes to this type of thing, if that's what you need help in, then I can give that to you, right? If it's, whatever your specific field of study is or knowledge, then, you could give that to me. Does that make sense, y'all? I want to make Power Monday Mastermind, as I've said before, we are a community, and, there's so much out here to be had, money, just a better life. And so if I can help in some small fashion or form to help you achieve that better existence, I'm here for that. I don't, even though I keep on mentioning the $250 an hour thing, I don't want you to think that, I don't have time for you at all. I'm just letting you up front, and I'm trying to be very honest about it, that you can't call me up and have 50,000 questions and think that I'm going to answer them for free, right? But if you need some assistance or some information, and it's not information that I'm giving out to my $5,000 clients, then absolutely. And quite frankly, that's what this call is about, right? The information I give out to my $5,000 clients, bing, you can get that on this call. But you have to step up to the plate and ask questions. That's why I give this hour of me to you, so that you can ask right here, right now, your questions. And there's an old saying, and the saying is, I'm gonna paraphrase the saying because I don't remember it exactly, but to the bold goes the spoils, right? Or to the bold, goes the victory. So those who are bold, those who stand up and shoot their shot, are the ones that typically win. Because the meek, they're meek. They don't get anything. I'm not going to say they don't get anything, but you get my point, right? So we have to start living our best life. So that means that we have to start, doing bigger and better by ourselves, for ourselves. I wanted to say this to you all. I was looking at Monday. I'm sorry, Monday. Today's Monday. I was looking last week at my PayPal account, and then I saw excuse me, sorry, coughing in here. I saw in my PayPal account that I had there was something like 12 or 13,000 in outstanding balances to me from different clients, right? And then I talked to this young lady, which was kind of ironic, but so I saw this, that I had this $13,000 outstanding to me, and then I ended up talking to this young lady who I had a lot of faith in, a lot of, hope and faith in, and she was one of the people that has an outstanding balance, and but not in my PayPal. And so, long story short, when I talked to her, she knew exactly what she was getting into. So I taught her so much stuff, things that she did not know prior, then gave her a shitload of resources. And then she goes, well, I just wanted to let you know that, yeah, I just wanted something different. And I was thinking to myself, well, how can it be something different? So I started asking her questions to see how much she's learned. I was like, well, so when you first got with me, you didn't know how to do this. And she's like, no, I didn't. You didn't know how to do, no, I didn't. You didn't have these resources? No, I didn't. So I was saying, well, I've given you all that I've said and more. And I've given it to you faster than what I normally would have, right? Because you still owe me $3,500. And she was like, yeah, I know, but, after I've been thinking about it, I'm just trying to go and do it the way I want to do things. I'm like, okay, fine. So that's another $3,500 on top of that 12 or 13,000. So let's just, for easier math, let's just say, if it's 13,000, now I have $16,500 out there, that people haven't paid me in the last several, I don't know, maybe 5 months or something, 6 months tops, which is in my world a lot of money. But I had to think about it, and I just, who gives a shit, right? It doesn't matter, all the knowledge and information I gave her, kudos to her. Live her life. Let her be her, right? And ultimately, in my world, it doesn't matter, because if it starts to matter, then I'm telling myself that there's limitations, that there's lack, right? Are you guys getting that? That there is not another client or 2 or 10 or 20 or 30 or 50 or 100 to take her place. And we can't do that. I'm kind of changing, our direction of the conversation. I understand that. But it all has to do with us living our best life, right? So if you start living in a world of lack and thinking to yourself that, oh my God, I lost that client. Oh my God, they didn't pay me. Oh my God, this. Oh my God, that. Whatever it might be, right? You are literally programming yourself and creating lack in your mind, which subsequently creates fear. See how I got back to the fear thing? And that's something we can't do, because you cannot live our best life if we're living in fear, in lack. I always use this analogy about, since the beginning of known history, they have been digging gold out of the ground. And since the beginning of history, right, of known history, not only have they been digging gold out of the ground, they have been saying it's a rare commodity, right? It's a rare thing. It's so rare. It's so precious. And I say that's bullshit. I say gold is not rare. It's rare because that's what they say it is. But in truth, gold is not rare. And the reason I say that is because over the last 4 to 6,000 years, they've been digging it out of the ground in enough that it fulfills whatever new marketplace there is for it. Does that make sense? It's constant. There's a show on Quest TV. I don't know whoever can get that channel, but there's a show and it's called something. What the hell? Something miners, about people in Canada. They're gold miners, right? And all the trials and tribulations they go through, and all the miscellaneous BS they go through. And these guys, in a season, because it freezes, they're in the Panhandle, and so it freezes in the Yukon. And it freezes there. So they have this really short period of the gold mining season. It's just months, right? And there's this one young man whose father is big in the just big name and all that kind of stuff. And so his father, has given him equipment, money to get a start and all this other bull. And in a 3-month season, before the ground froze over, they pulled $1.2 million, I think, or $1.1 million of gold out of the ground, right? And then there's 6 or 7 other people that are on that show that are pulling hundreds of thousands of dollars out of the ground around this one young man, and that's in this little bitty area they call the Yukon, and none of these miners are that far from each other. And so if they're able to pull collectively $5 million out of the ground in one little area, one little small part of the Yukon, how can it be a rare thing, right? But we were taught lack, we were taught fear, and we have to start unlearning this crap. And the only way that we're going to be all that we need and want and desire to be is by starting to unlearn all this BS that we have learned from childhood about lack. I mean, I'm just going to say to you, that I'm not as young as I used to be, and since I came out here to California in the 70s, and even in the 70s, right? We came from the Philippines to my father was in the Air Force, so we were stationed in the Philippines. I was a little guy, and in '73, I've been here ever since, and I can't tell you how many water crises that the state of California has had, right? How many times over the decades, California's burning, right? In the 70s and the 80s, California's burning. We don't have any water. Do this. Do that. And it creates this level of fear and uncertainty, right? While the people that don't give a shit are thriving, right? Because their mindset seems to be, hey, either there's water or there isn't. I'm just going to operate on the principle that there is, and I'm going to go and make this money. And you and I need to start, absorbing and creating a new set of guidelines in our existence. And it's just extremely important. In order for us to live our best life, fear, right? The fear of failure cannot exist. You know why? Because you're going to fail. And you're going to fail. It's just a part of this existence. And since I know I'm going to fail, the best thing for me to do is just go ahead and take the shot, shoot my shot. What do I have to lose, right? It's either going to win or it's not going to win. I play the lottery twice a week, and I do it. And I don't look, dude. I want to win like the next person wants to win. I would love to, because I could set myself and my family up for virtually ever, as long as currency means something to people. But the thing is, I know that they say it's $1 trillion to one shot, but because they say it's $1 trillion to one shot, does that mean I should stop playing? Because I'm venturing to say that if that were the case, that it's $1 trillion to 1, then people wouldn't be winning these hundreds of millions of dollar, lotteries. People are just, changing their life. And if they're smart, they're changing their life for the good and their family's life. But they got to be in it to win it. And it's just like our businesses. Our businesses, we have to be in it to win it. We have to be focused, right? And we have to understand that failure is going to come along with the process. But if you look at it as failure, then you failed. If you look at it as failure, then you have failed. Does that make sense? We can no longer look at our failures as failure. You have to start looking at your failure as part of the process. I have a son, and as I've mentioned to you all before, we started this business together. I started it and brought my son in because I want to do a project with my son. I want to do something with my son. And I've had an idea for a long time, which I've told you all about, which is it's called 60 Second. Our overall company is 60 Second Entertainment, but we're starting off with a division of that called 60 Second Stand Up, right? And the deal with the whole 60 Second Stand Up thing is it's a brilliant idea, I believe. We're slowly but surely getting more comedians in to submit their videos to us so we can build our YouTube channel, our Instagram channel, and all this other stuff. But, the hardest thing about this business thus far is dealing with my son, because he is him and I am me, and we, we knot heads, but I love and adore my son. But I will say that there was something he said to me the other day, which was, because I was saying, hey man, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to, all this other stuff. And he was saying to me that, hey dad, he likes to, try to take on his my wife says that, he wants to prove or show his manhood to me, that he's a man. He doesn't want me to treat him like less than what he believes himself to be. And so I have to admit it's a little difficult for me, right? But let me say this. Somebody sent in a little note, and I'll read this in a hot second. But the thing is that what he said made all the sense in the world, and which I was saying, hey dude, we gotta make this happen. We're gonna do it. He was like, Dad, look, I don't want to be a part of this if you're not going to just work the process. You got to work the process. He said, we're exactly where we're supposed to be, and if you try to rush it, it's going to be the hottest thing for 30 seconds, and then it's going to be out of here. He said, but if we build it, and we build it however long it takes to build it, then it's going to be here for a long time and we'll reap the rewards. And I'm thinking, yeah, in my mind I'm thinking this. I didn't say it to my son, but I'm thinking, yeah, asshole, but you're not the one spending the money, right? But when I thought about it, he's exactly right. And even when he was saying it, I knew he was right. But because he's my son, I don't want to hear all that crap from him. Do you guys understand? It's I, just like we get in our own way. I, just like everybody else, we stop our growth because we're afraid of either somebody else having more control over a situation than we, somebody else making more sense than we do, whatever the hell the case may be. But it all, in my mind, comes right back to the fear thing. I don't know what level of fear that is, but in my mind, there's some sort of inkling of fear in there, right? There's I don't know what the hell it is. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist or anything of that nature. But I just examine myself and I examine the individuals that I deal with, or observe, I should say. And I understand that my lack has all come because of fear, because of the belief in lack. Does that make sense? It's a little twisted verbiage maybe, but, hopefully you all are catching that. So let's see. Let me see what this individual is saying here. Great concept and understanding on this. Call P. Definitely need to hear this. TTY notes being taken. Okay, so and they want me to reply in private. Okay, but anyways, they were just saying that the individual, was simply saying that they like the call, I guess, in short, and so I'm just going to end up replying thank you, and I can't stress it enough, y'all, that everything that we need, we have in abundance with us or in front of us right here, right now. And, together we can, there's just so much we could do, right? As a mastermind, your business can be, in thought, it could be 10 miles away from my business in thought process, right? But one thing I know is a fact, and that is that as a grouping, as a mastermind, that we can easily develop one another's businesses, even if you're in the trucking business or in the stock market business or in the this or that and the other, for all the reasons I mentioned earlier, right? And so we have to start thinking, as a community in some respects, but just as important, we individually have to start shaking that fear and moving forward. Even if it's just the most minute step towards your goal, and even if you don't succeed in that minute step towards your goal, who gives a shit, right? Just take the step. Take the step. I'm telling you, I promise you this, actually. I'm not going to tell you it. I'm going to promise you something. If you take the step towards whatever venture, and I'm not saying some huge step, just a small step, a comfortable step, towards whatever it is that you want to accomplish and or do, even if you fall down, even if that step does not work, you take the next step towards that same end. And I promise you, you take enough steps, something is going to occur. And I'm going to give you a prime example of this. So there's a young lady, a buddy of mine, I'll just call her Shar. When we first started talking about selling clothes and all this bullshit online, because she was trying to find a way to make some money, it was like an easy thing to do, right? You go, you buy some clothes, and you turn around and sell them. Buy, used stuff, because it's a huge market online. Well, she has slowly but surely started catching her stride. She has gone from selling, like $20, $40 in a week if she were lucky. Now she's selling hundreds of dollars in a week. And the only reason is because she hasn't given up. For whatever reason, she hasn't given up. So she calls me almost weekly. Hey Pascal, I just got to tell you, all right, this is what's happening. This is what's going, right? And she'll say, okay, well, last week, I got the 500 last week. This week, I'm hitting the 500. I might do better, right? And it started off where she was literally, not selling shit. She wasn't able to sell anything on Mercari. She wasn't able to sell anything on Poshmark. She wasn't able to sell anything on eBay. It just wasn't happening. But because she has dedicated herself to it, and spends time, in the chat rooms, in the different, what is it? the different, what is, on Instagram, I'm sorry, on Instagram, and all of them post their stuff. There's like all these different people that sell on eBay, Macari and Poshmark. They list their sales every day. They'll go and look at each other's stores and say, well, this is what I think. This is what I believe. They'll help each other out like that, right? And so keep in mind, she literally went from selling nothing in used clothes, because that's all they are, to now selling, approximately $500 a week in used clothes on Macari, Poshmark, and eBay. And so there's a young lady, and this is the second person that she's had deep conversation with. First one, there's a guy who's, I forgot where he's at, but he does like $25,000, $30,000 a month on eBay selling used clothes. And he's like, I don't know, like Midwestern, so I don't know where he's at. But I mean, he's able to do that on eBay. But it took him a while to get his stride. But he put aside his fear, kept on doing it even though people told him not to, right? That's a waste of time, is this, is that. Now he has 2 employees. Now she's in contact with a young lady that is killing the game in these, like she posts her sales, and all these other people, they post their sales. So it's not like people can just shoot you a bunch of BS, right? So there's a young lady that is helping her out to some degree and giving her tips and advice on how she's doing her thing. But Shar started contacting this young lady because she's posting her sales like all of them do in that community. And this young lady, $90,000 on eBay selling used clothes in 2 months. That's $45,000. $45,000 per month over a 2-month period of time. Right? And she, I'll tell you what she told Charlotte. She said, okay, but look, on eBay, instead of having all these fixed sales, what you have to do is, you just got to trust. You got to trust in the process. She said those fixed sales, people aren't buying that. You gotta give people, and I already know this crap, right? And so I told my wife, all the stuff that we have on eBay, we're switching it to auction now, right? She said you got to set it up on auction with no reserve, right? So in other words, where you don't have a fixed price, like if you don't, it goes for auction, and let's say your reserve is like $6, and if it doesn't reach that $6 mark, then it doesn't get sold. The young lady was saying, yeah, you just gotta, no reserve, just, let it be, right? How ridiculous is that? No reserve, because what happens is, psychologically, and I know better because I used to buy and sell stuff. I used to buy stuff from the storage units, and I watched bids, people just bidding, because people get caught up in the bid. And it's the same thing on eBay. I spent $2,000 on a program 20 years ago for this guy who was selling pool tables on eBay, and he was making millions of dollars a year, and he would start all his auctions off with no reserve and no reserve and at zero, right? So literal zero for his starting price, and he would always get his money plus some. And the guy was selling, like I said, millions of dollars a year, and had become a millionaire selling on eBay. And you think about it, you have a multi-$1,000 pool table, and this guy would say, no, I'm just going to take the risk. I'm going to put it out there. And, I'm going to trust the process. I'm going to trust, how, the people's emotional thing, where people, they start bidding and they start bidding and they start bidding more. They don't want to be beat. And then, ironically, the universe is very odd how it puts stuff together, right? Because there's a show called Brain Games that you can find on Netflix. It's so good to watch because it is amazing. Anybody on this call, you need to watch Brain Games if you have Netflix, because it was the weirdest thing. They show you how the brain works with all these little brain teasers and brain puzzles. And I know I'm getting slightly off track, but you'll see that it all comes back together. So on Brain Games, ironically, and that's what I'm saying, the universe is just amazing because, I'm having this conversation with Shar. She's telling me about her sales, and I'm telling you, I watched her go from no sales to $20 a week, $40 a week, some weeks nothing, and now she's kicking hundreds of dollars per week because she's consistent. She's beaten back her fear, right? Because at first she would tell me, I just don't know if I could do this, Pat. I don't know if I could do this. I just, I'm going to have to find something else. I'm going to have to do this. So she's beaten back her fear. She's stuck with it. And now she's knocking, $300, $400, $500, $600, $700 in a week. And she's putting in her time, effort, and energy to talk to and learn from people that know better than her, right? And coaching, remember that. She's talking to and learning from people that know better than her, which is also helping her put aside her fears, right? The same fears that we all have. Some of us allow those fears to overwhelm us and we don't do shit. But we got to get away from that, y'all. We have to move away from that. So, anywho, on brain games, my wife just happened to have it on. Now, after these conversations I had with Charvella, she was telling Char, I'll call her name is Charvella, but I'll just call her Char. And her telling me what this young lady was telling her that did the 90 grand and has 2 employees selling clothes on eBay, right? It's just, she trusts the process. She trusts, she had to, she like us, like we need to get over our various fears and just make moves. The young lady got over her fears and she was just like, I'm just going to put it out there. Worst case scenario is I get the shipping, right? And so the consequences of her taking those steps, bypassing her levels of fear, is that she's doing $45,000 a month selling used clothes. Doesn't matter the business, the concept is still the same. It's getting past your fear of, well, what if people don't this or people don't that? Am I gonna be able to make it happen? Am I gonna be able to make some money? Even with Shar, one of the things that she has gone through a process is that she had to just beat back all this fear about stuff not working. And she had to beat back her fear of charging so little that she wouldn't make any money. Now she seems to be, talking about, you got to sell it cheap. You sell that volume. You know what I mean? It's like her as she's become more successful in this, her mental has flipped, from, no, I'm charging them $30. They can either buy it or they won't, right? And that's fear talking because you're saying, I got to make some money somehow. Right? So I'm going to charge this money. I'm going to charge this $30 because I got to make some money somehow. As opposed to saying, you know what? I'm going to put it up for 30. If somebody offers me 20, I'll take it because some money in the door is better than no money. And then I can buy the next thing, keep on moving, right? Because at that point you're not in a state of fear. You're in a state of business. You're in a state of moving forward, making stuff happen. So let me get back to this. And I hate to keep on switching on you all, but I want to try to get as much in this hour as humanly possible. So Brain Games, it was amazing actually, because it has so much to do with this right here. So this segment was where they did 2 different things. On this segment, the first thing they did is they were at a beer garden, right? And so what they did is they took a $20 bill and they encased it in plastic. It's just a regular $20 bill. And so they started taking bids. The bid started off at $1, but he said that there's one trick to this. What the guy who was doing the auction said is that we're going to auction off this $20 bill, the regular $20 bill, just encased in plastic. We're going to auction it off, but the way it's going to work is the highest bidder will get the $20 bill, but the second highest bidder still has to pay whatever they bidded up to, right? And so the bidding started, and the way it started working at first is everybody was bidding. I mean, like all the people in the beer garden were bidding, primarily men, but they were all bidding because initially the thought process was they're going to get this $20 bill for maybe $5, right? So they're going to be $15 ahead. But what was amazing is to watch how it went to $15. A lot of people dropped off, but there were still people bidding for a $20 bill at $15, then $18. Now I'll make this short. The winning bid was $43 because two guys at the end, even though their girlfriends, they showed on the camera, their girlfriends like, what are you doing? You know, you just like, dude, have you lost your mind? Girlfriends, wives, whatever they were. And but these guys, their machismo kicked in, and then it got to the point where since you are going to end up paying, if you're second place, right, you're going to end up paying regardless. So now it became a thing of, if you're going to lose now, how much are you going to lose? At least at the end of the day, you want to get the $20 to recoup some of your loss. So you're going to keep on bidding. And so it ended up being that the winning guy paid $43, and the losing guy paid, it was right about $40. I forgot, like $38, $39, because you know. But isn't that crazy, right? So it's part of that process that I was talking about with the eBay thing, and that's why that young lady is succeeding, I believe, is because she's believing in the process of people's desire to win. You know, people don't want to be a loser, at least in small ways, right? With eBay and that type of thing, and that's why she's winning. That's why the other guy I was talking about was able to sell thousands of pool tables worth thousands of dollars on eBay, starting off with a zero bid, you know, but plus flipping, right? But starting off with a zero bid and would let it bid to whatever, no reserve, no nothing, and would just let it bid to whatever. And then, you know, he was making millions of dollars. All of that, the reason most people don't do that is because of fear, right? And so they don't succeed like these other people. So we have to get away from our fears. We have to get away from, you know, and once again, what I'm telling you guys is I'm talking to myself as well, because in some arenas I'm much further than you all, but in other arenas you're much further than I. But all of us still have these fears, and that's why it's so good to talk to someone who's further along in a specific arena that you want to move towards. But also, you have to be willing to get past your fears and just make some stuff happen, move towards your goal, even if it's just a fraction of a step at a time, a half a step at a time, or a full step at a time. But you got to move toward your goal, and you have to stop looking at a failure, or what other people would perceive to be a failure, as a failure. You have to look at it as just a pivoting point. You have to look at it as, oh, well, that crap didn't work right. So I know this is a good thing that I'm doing, so I'm going to have to pivot, right? We talked about this last week. Sometimes you can't go straight, you know? It just doesn't work. So you have to pivot, and you have to go to the right, or you have to go to the left, or you have to go diagonally. You have to do something different. You have to go over, you know, whatever the hell it is. Sometimes you got to pivot in order to have that thing that you're doing successful, because our initial objective, just like with this clothing thing that I started with my wife, selling these used clothes that we've talked about way back in the day, you know, I spent like $1,000 or more on this venture for my wife, but I can't do all the shit that I'm doing and that, right? So my wife, she has all the inventory she could ever want, but she's going to have to learn to pivot. Take what Shar is saying, take what she's learning from just the process, and do it. So she's tried multiple things in making this happen. We're buying the clothes in bulk, so these used clothes, and then I take them and I get them dry cleaned. So for me, I'm into these things, these clothes for probably 60 cents a piece plus another $2.25 for dry cleaning. And so then the shipping really, because we charge $6 shipping for the lighter stuff, the shipping alone covers all that. So she tried this thing where she's trying $5. Now she's just going to put the stuff up, which I believe is going to be the best thing. Put it up, no reserve, no nothing, and just put it in auction. Whatever it goes for, it goes for. And I believe that's going to be the greatest success. But she's tried multiple things. So you see what I'm saying? I think that this used clothes thing for her is going to be a $10,000 business a month, I believe, easily. Quite frankly, I believe it can get to $20,000 a month. But right now, she's pushing forward, but she's also learning, oh, shit, that's not working. I got to pivot. Right? And all of us have to do the same in our businesses and our desires and our wants. Sometimes going straight forward is not going to work. You have to pivot. You have to, move, go over, go under, whatever it is to make it work. And the only reason that we don't do a lot of things is because we live in a state of lack and we live in a state of fear, and we can no longer do that to be successful. We can no longer do that in order to leave a legacy for our children, our children's children, or whomever else you so desire, right? We have to make some changes. Everybody on this call has my email. You should, right? And you need to email me. If it's a short, brief conversation, I'll give you that. There's no $250 charge, but I'm not going to answer a bunch of calls over the phone, simply because I get paid for that. That's I had to make a decision in my existence that I'm worth something. I have value. What I teach has value. What I know has value. And so therefore I need to charge like I have value as a human being, as a business person, and so on and so forth. That's why I don't have long conversations on the phone unless I'm getting paid these days, because I've done that, been there. And there's no way in this world anymore that I'm going to shortchange myself. And I don't. And I'm saying the same thing for you all. Stop shortchanging yourselves. It's imperative to stop shortchanging yourselves. All right. I'm gonna read a list of places that I think that you all on this call should investigate as far as getting money. Okay, so people are having success with these places. I always like to add this part in because it's so important to to our core, which is getting money. Because once again, our motto on this call is, because it's easier to borrow $10 million than it is to earn it, and that is a line taken from Donna J. Fox, Esquire, off of her book. And I do believe that it is easier to borrow more money than it is to earn. But here are some places that you guys might want to jot down. So people are getting money from them. So this should help you in your ventures. So hopefully you guys are ready, or you can listen to the call later on and run the recording to the end and get this information. So Cabbage, small business funding, cabbage.com, right? And then there's Lightstream. This has been very good. Lightstream has been very good. And they have packages anywhere from $5K all the way up to $100,000. They're really good for personal loans. For a $10,000 loan, it will cost you approximately $320 a month, and that's at like a 9.59% rate over 36 months. So, not bad, not bad at all. Lending Club is another one. They have monies anywhere from $1,000 to $40,000, good personal loans. Same deal, 10K will probably cost you about $324. This is all with decent credit, right? So we're looking at around 700. Another 36 loan. Barclays, y'all. Barclays, they've been doing well for loans. So 5 to 35K. Marcus by Goldman Sachs been crushing it with Marcus on getting an average of $20,000, and they have loans anywhere from $3,500 up to $40K. Best Aid, they have don't know much about them, to be honest, but $2,000 to $35,000. Freedom Plus, $10,000 to $40,000 loans. Axos Banking Evolved, which is spelled AXOS, Banking Evolved, and they have 5 to 35K. And then there's Prosper. They have anywhere from 2,000 to 40K. And then there's Earnest, which is they have 5 to 75K. And then there's a place called Upgrade, and theirs is let's see, 1,000. Oh, so they start at 1,000 up to 50K. So these are places that you probably haven't heard of much in the out in the world. You already know that. I got some other good news for you. For those of you, there's a program, Discover. So like Discover Card. They also do loans, and they have been doing well. So a young lady that I work with, her mother was able to get a $45,000 loan from Discover for school. Excuse me. And I like school loans actually for a lot of reasons. One is that when it's for school, you got time to pay that stuff back, and that's big stuff to me. Yet you have plenty of time, and so 45 grand, you got to go to school, which is not a bad look, right? You can take classes, but 45 grand is $45,000, and they give it to you for living expenses and so on and so forth, while you're in school. So that's not a bad look, y'all. I'm just saying. You already know about SoFi because I mentioned SoFi a lot. Now, SoFi is awesome, but SoFi, man, they want documentation. They want documentation like crazy. Let's see. Also, HBSC, Compass Bank, USAA, and BVDD. That one I don't have written down. I don't know why, because I have a young lady that's killing it with them. She's really killing it with them, and they really seem to love her. So those are some institutions that you all might want to check on. Once again, I just really want you guys to capture this from Marion Williamson, and I'm gonna read it one more time, and I'm gonna read it slow because I really want you guys to understand and get this. And then it's from the quote from the movie Aquila and the Bee. And so once again it says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. We ask ourselves, who am I? to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous. Actually, who are you not to be? We are born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. And, so I'm sorry, I'm kind of screwed up there. And as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give other people the permission to do the same. You get it? Let your light shine. Give other people permission to let their light shine. Because we people, right, they gravitate to people that seem to have this glow, this personality. And then as they have gravitated to you because of your glow and your personality, then subsequently it gives them permission to do the same, right? To be free. There's a thing by Albert Campos. I'll read it for you guys next week. But if no one has anything to say, it's such a good quote by this guy Albert Campos. I kind of butchered this tequila thing because the verbiage I'm sorry, this thing by Marianne Williamson, because this doesn't, I don't know, it's the way it flows. I think they took it and they rewrote it or something. But whatever. You guys get the point. If anybody has any questions, ask. If not, we're going to go ahead and end this call. But I really want to thank you all for coming on the call. And I'm hoping that you guys are learning something. And I'm hoping that, if you guys are in need of building your business, of chopping it up a little bit, that you hit me up. You hit me up. You email me at pascal@VanguardGlobalLLC.com, Pascal at VanguardGlobalLLC.com. And, in the subject line, just put Power Mondays. And maybe, I might be able to give you some little piece to your puzzle, to your pie, to make it whole. I don't know, right? And you won't know either unless you contact me. So let's make some money. Let's move beyond where we're at currently, and let's do some really good things and some really big things, everybody. And thank you again for coming on the call. You guys are helping me learn more about me and develop myself as I am helping you all hopefully develop yourselves. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Talk to you all later if no one has anything to say. Good call. Thank you.